Hello again, everyone. This is NS Steampunk. We are over here in Ridgeley, West Virginia at the site of the Western Maryland Railway Ridgeley Yard at milepost B165. As you can see down here, we have a GP30 numbered 501 sitting at the head end of what appears to be the dinner train for the night. The regular Frostburg Flyer is going to be coming back into the yard in just a little bit with the F40 leading. I'd like to talk a little bit about a little history about this area. This is the former Western Maryland Railway Yard on the Thomas subdivision. Now beyond the yard, the main line continues for another mile to the Y at Maryland Junction near Carpendale. MY Tower controlled the movement of trains in Ridgeley Yard, and freight traffic control happened east towards Hagerstown, where trains would stop through the famed Knobley Tunnel, northwest towards Bomerland and Connellsville, and southwest towards Elkins. Robert Shockey was the regular second trick operator and grew up living near Deal, Pennsylvania on the Connellsville extension, serving as a tutor to educate the Western Maryland in those environs. Now, in the age of the steam engine, changing steam engines caused zero delays. Westbound trains would head to the west end of Ridgeley Yard. If there was an addition of mid-train helpers, the road crew would split the train at the yard crossover track before uncoupling and heading for the Maryland Junction terminal. A new road locomotive was coupled to the head end once pickups and stouts were made, and the train would steam out of town within an hour of its arrival. The helpers were dropped off at Deal, turned on the Y, and headed back down the mountain. The procedure once changed in the age of diesel locomotives. The Western Maryland began acquiring early diesel switchers in 1941, such as the Alco S2s and the RS3s. Diesel locomotives began taking over steam operations shortly before and after World War II. In 1955 was the age of the Alpha Jets, which became the Western Maryland's premier fast freight. Ebb and flow of traffic and symbols were altered over the years with the varying number of these daily trains, and pauses for crew changes and pickups happened right here in this yard, along with the power swaps and added helpers for the trek up Big Savage Mountain. By 1973, this yard was then used to store bad order and excess freight cars once the Western Maryland was folded into the chassis system. At the same time, the Western Maryland filed with the ICC for abandonment of 125-mile trackage between Connellsville and Hancock, as well as between Ridgeley and West Virginia Central Junction on June 11th of that year. All right, folks, we got our F40 that's going to be coming into our yard in just a little bit here. Anyways, to make this kind of short, simple, and sweet, BT1 continued to be switched at Ridgeley Yard while mainly hauling freight for Penn Central and Pittsburgh and Lake Erie connections in Connellsville. Empty hopper trains were also routed to both Ridgeley and Knobmount. BT1 and westbound empty hoppers heading from Ridgeley Yard for Gray or Rockwood remained on Western Maryland rails as far as Sandpatch before crossing over to the B&O. Later on, Ridgeley and Knobmount were further downgraded to bad order car storage, and the Gray, Rockwood, Blue Lick, and C&P turns all originated at the B&O's yard in Cumberland. By 1987, the chassis system was taken over as today's Class 1 CSX transportation system. Ridgeley was later abandoned and reacquired by today's Western Maryland Scenic Railroad, which now uses it to store cars and engines as a service yard. So we just heard the horn of the Western Maryland GP30. He's backing away for clearance. The horn on that locomotive is a Leslie RS3. Both engines have EMD steel bells. Here comes the locomotive heading this way. This is a former Amtrak F40 locomotive. Okay, he's stopping for a second. Here's the rest of the yard facing eastbound. You can see some other cars in the consists down there. Okay, he's going to move. comes. There's the Southern Pacific Overland Trail coach that we rode in. It's number 2981. Over a car behind it is a chair car. This is a Union Pacific car. It says UP 5430, may have originally been Southern Pacific. There's a dump car known as Ocean View. Two more air-conditioned cars. Coming up here is one of the newly air-conditioned cars, I quote. And right up here is the famed Iron Horse, Chesapeake, Ohio H6 class, number 1309. As you can see here, this is a 6-car consist. Gotta love dumb cars too. Steam or EMD power, you gotta love the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad.
I got the angle cocks closed on this end. Go ahead and cut in and let me know when you have a set on the train.
Roger that. Actually answering. I'm going to start the 110-2 and get power to the dinner train. Just, if you need me to, I'll shut it down when we need to.
Roger that, we'll shut it down when the time comes.
So folks, there'll be a dinner train later tonight. Thank you all for watching this video. Please stay tuned for our upcoming train videos coming up a little bit later on this week.
Roger.
I'll see you in my next train video. Tower 93, reporting live in Ridgeley, West Virginia. Over and out.